are live.
Hey, you're watching pilot season. I'm your host. You're watching pilot season. I'm your host. You're watching pilot monthly. Hey, you're watching pilot monthly. Hey, you're watching pilot monthly. Hey, you're watching pilot videos. 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 Hey, you're watching I'm blaming you for my behavior regardless.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And before we meet our teams tonight, we're going to need to get a suggestion, because what I said earlier, that it's a collaboration between writers and actors, it's actually a collaboration between writers and actors and our audience. At pilot season, we start with a suggestion from our Twitch chat. Our theme, our genre of sitcom that we're creating tonight, we call it Fresh Starts. So this is a sitcom where someone's moved to a new town, someone's gotten a divorce, they've graduated from college, they've returned from the space station. Are you guys following? We don't have time for this, but are you guys following the story of those two people that are in a space station that were supposed to be home in like 60 days? And we have turned the calendar on those people. And it's not like we can send more dry shampoo up. Like I'm thinking about them a lot. I two sides of this. I'm sorry, we're digressing for just a second. The couple that is in space, I could think about them in like a sci-fi way and get so excited, or I could just panic attack myself awake for the rest of February. It's wild. I hope they're watching. Okay, and we need to get a suggestion.
Of course.
For a fresh start sitcom pilot. So we need a really big life event. Now I burned, graduating from college and getting a divorce. Those things could still be used if we've yes-anded them a little bit. For example, our last episode was someone who works on Wall Street, has a nervous breakdown and moves to an alpaca farm. So really, feel free to dig into your ideas. While you're doing that, we're going to meet our teams. I'm so excited. Everyone knows how much I love writers. I'm trying to be a writer myself. They're my favorite people on earth. At pilot season, we meet the actors first. 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 At pilot. What is your favorite sitcom?
Oh man. I don't know if I can really call this my favorite sitcom because I think it's really bad. But a sitcom that I was obsessed with in grade school, like me and my best friend would watch it every single night that we had a sleepover, like fall asleep and it's playing, was Full House. And I don't know if I can stand by it. I tried to watch an episode a couple years ago and I really got the ick, but for those golden years,
yeah,
it was incredible for me.
You know what I'll say? That house is too full.
I'm saying, in San Francisco, how you get a house that big?
Some of those guys need an apartment. I mean, they can pop over.
The fact that one character literally lived in an alcove.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
an alcove was in an alcove with a curtain. How did anybody want that? Whatever.
Do you watch Fuller House at all?
Okay. In college, I had a stomach ulcer and I couldn't do anything all weekend. And I did watch the entire first season of Fuller House. So I don't have any memories from it.
Did you get better?
Yeah, I no longer have a stomach ulcer.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Maggie, follow-up question. If you could live in any sitcom town, which would you pick?
Oh my gosh. I think not necessarily town, but I'd love to live in a timeline or in a community where there is such a strong third place as there is in How I Met Your Mother with that damn bar.
Yeah. That's a great example. That's an underrated location there too. You don't think of that as being like, it's definitely not a workplace sitcom, but they have that central location that is someone's business. It's like they're at Cheers, but they don't work at Cheers.
Yeah.
Joining us again on the acting team, we have Tracy Rideout. Tracy, welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Tracy, who is your favorite sitcom character? It could be currently or one like of all time. Who's your fave?
That is so hard. Top of mind, I'm gonna go with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Veep. I just think she's so heinous, but you can still find some empathy for her as well. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting character.
That might be the character that I watch the most on YouTube. I'll really go down with the like the Prime Minister of Finland. What's her name? Mina?
Yes.
All of their scenes together are so crazy and funny. We're talking about them
Absolutely. Yes.
Also joining us again, returning player, but for the first time on the acting side, we have Erin Washington. Erin, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be asked to be back. I'm so excited.
Erin, the last time you were on, much like when I talked about the space station earlier, and then I might talk about it again, you and I digressed a little bit talking about the show Sex and the City.
Yes.
And this is an assignment for you. The show Sex and the City ran for like 6 seasons, and then there were 2 movies, and now there's a spin-off show. It's like 25 years without leaving, without staying in the pop culture zeitgeist. If you could pick a second show that has that lifespan, the show runs forever, it gets movies, it comes back, what would you pick?
Oh, that's such a hard question. Let me think. I'm trying to think if there's just like a group of friends who have opinions on anything that I want to hear about. What would they say now? What would they say today?
Maybe a new show now that you want to just like
To keep forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have any new sitcoms that I'm loving right now, but I will say, and I feel like this is such a cop-out answer, but with Seinfeld, I always see TikToks of people being like, if Seinfeld were still on today, and then they do like a little thing about it. And I think those are so funny and the characters are so recognizable. And to see like George freak out about something now would be great.
I love that answer. A few episodes ago, someone pitched the show Young Seinfeld. It's right. I don't know. I just think it's so silly. But it really made me laugh. Let's go to our writing side. We have a real all-star here. Robin, I think we're nearing double digits, if not yet. We have Robin Dafforn on the writing side. Welcome back, Robin.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a fun time.
So Robin, since you've been back so many times, we've talked about sitcoms a lot.
Yes.
And as you know, we are in the midst of Oscar season. Like voting has begun. The red carpets are rolled out. Assuming you're a network executive and you could adapt any Oscar nominated movie this year into a sitcom, which would you pick?
What are the ones nominated this year?
This year we have Amelia Perez, we have Conclave, Dune. Everybody shout them out. The Substance would be a wild.
Yeah, I think I remember The Substance, but I feel like I guess The Conclave, from what I know of that movie, was very, very like bitchy back and forth. So that'd kind of be fun to have some sitcom going on in that. Yeah.
A sitcom that I love to hear references from that I've only seen clips of is The Flying Nun. And I like the idea of Conclave maybe having somebody who just gets
Yeah.
like up in the wind once in a while.
Who
They're-
was in that? Who was the flying nun?
That's
In-
Sally Field.
Kelly Field is the flying nun, and the nun in Conclave is Isabella Rossellini, and I say we keep her.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's just a lot.
Absolutely.
Joining us again for multiple times. This is also somebody who's really like into the close to double digits. We've got Will Jonas, but first time on the writing side.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back, Will. Will, we had recently a mashup, crossover episode of Abbott Elementary and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You pick two other sitcoms to have crossovers. What would you pick?
Well, this is probably just because it's like on the top of my mind right now, but my wife and I are watching The West Wing, which I know is not a sitcom. But I would like to see It's Always Sunny meets West Wing, which like wouldn't be too far from like Veep or what we currently live in. But like, you know, just a group of real scumbags just like taking over the White House and setting policy for the next 4 years and ruining everyone's lives.
That sounds great.
Yay.
I would love for it to just be a show. Joining us again, we have Brian Paladie. Brian, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan. Great to be here.
Brian, if you could bring back any sitcom that has passed, any sitcom that got canceled, anyone that like had its day already, you could bring it back for another season or one like reunion episode, what would you pick?
It would be a reboot because I think the reboot didn't do it well.
Okay.
The Arrested Development.
They were like, no one was available for that season of Arrested Development and they made it anyway.
I mean, the whole purpose of it was the ensemble cast and then playing off of each other and, you know, having a lot of, you know, pairings on screen that you really love to see. And then they brought it back and it lost all of that. And you got to see your people, but never interacting with each other. So I think kind of hitting the refresh button on it and going back to basics and making sure you had the ensemble cast would be really, really key.
I love that. I hope that happens for real. The thing about Arrested Development also is that like there's characters in the foreground and the background. And so you would zoom in on people who were across the room, and in the reunion where they were available one at a time, that just wasn't possible. Em, have we gotten a suggestion from our chat yet?
We have gotten several. They run the gamut of realistic and not. So I'll give you the best ofs.
Okay.
We have, as far as fresh start major life events, we have getting out after being buried alive. We have both starting a farm and leaving the family farm. We have getting a divorce, but it's amicable, so you're still roommates. Buying a baseball team for your grandpa who always loved baseball. Buying a rundown failing theater, putting on a big show to raise money. Buying a van for van life. And adopting a dog. And in a twist, it's a la the movie Orphan. It's actually a cat in disguise. These are all very fleshed out. So we can you can pick whatever you like from that.
Any of those sparking anything, or if there's two that you're thinking you may want to like a little this meets that.
I mean, I gotta say, that first one really kicked it off with a bang. Someone who's been buried alive
Yes.
escapes from a grave, and they're like, wait a second, Trump's president? When did this happen?
a whole
Being
new
buried alive for months at a time.
that is I was afraid of that happening to me until I was way too grown. That's terrifying. Anybody else? That's certainly is a fresh start.
I like it. It reminds me of that clip of the woman being airlifted from the desert on the stretcher, and she's and I don't think she was buried alive, but I think they did just find her in the desert, and that's how they got her.
So how do we feel about someone who's been recently buried alive? Are we feeling like inspiration by that?
I'm loving it.
Yes,
All
I
right.
like it.
So we're going to go with the fresh start is someone is no longer buried alive. We're going to need you to go back to the chat, and we're going to get a title for this. And while you're doing that, we're going to break this down a little bit. We're going to start with our actors. Maggie, we'll start with you. Any characters that you're inspired to create by hearing the story of someone who had been buried alive?
I think my first thought was that this was potentially like a community of people that had been buried alive at some point, like by a serial burier. I don't know if that's because I'm watching The Leftovers right now, and so there's like, there's a community of people that disappeared. Like there's a community of people that got freaking buried. So I don't know, maybe like these people all emerging in different places.
I love that. Same question, Tracy. Any characters that spring to mind immediately?
I don't know. For some reason, like a silent film actress is kind of jumping out at me, coming back buried alive for whatever reason.
Okay. Erin, same question. Who's coming to mind so far?
I've been watching a lot of Desperate Housewives, so really all of them at once are coming to mind in this situation. But my favorite one, I love Lynette and I love Susan, who are both very different. One's like serious, sarcastic about everything, and then the other one is so surprised at anything, even though murders happen every year in this town. So
the first big house party you attend after being buried alive is like, that's an event. Let's check in with our writers. Robin, what's a situation that you see this character getting up to above ground?
Yeah, I kind of had a similar, like an idea of like, are they in a support group for people who have had like near-death experiences? I can say if I escaped being buried alive, it'd be what I'd say at the end of like every sentence, like it would be an excuse to get out of everything. It would be just kind of what I led with. But I thought like if you have this group of people that are kind of one-upping each other in their tragedies or their whatevers.
I love that. Robin, also, what time period are we set in? Are we in the present day? Are we sometime in the past?
I immediately medieval came to mind because like maybe they didn't get unburied, maybe just they've been gone in a cave, like it's just like, oh, Bill's back, but I would say let's set it in, I think we could set it in present day if we want to, but that just made me think.
If we're in present day, follow-up question, and this could just be, we can workshop this later if you don't have an exact answer. How much time has passed since this happened?
Ooh.
How long have they been released from?
It's not like recent, like it wasn't like yesterday, but it hasn't been like years.
Okay.
It's kind of in that mid-level.
Okay. Got it. Will, same initial question, any situations you're seeing these characters get up to?
Well, and the thing that immediately jumped to mind is like I haven't been seeing this as like, oh, this person was buried by like a killer or something. I feel like it seems like it could have been just like an honest mistake, but they were like legally pronounced dead. So like now they have to like get a new birth certificate because their old one is like void because they're dead.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's the paperwork alone. Will, follow-up question, what is a physical location? What's a place that we might see some of our scenes?
I mean, I think we gotta have a mausoleum or like just a standard graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Brian, same initial question. Any situations that you're inspired to create tonight?
Yeah, I'm inspired by all the insights I've gotten on TikTok of people who are living lives that I would never have introspection into. And I'm thinking about people who are like released from prison and they talk about what their life in prison was like and adjusting to, the life that, they came back into after 20 years or whatever. So I think being a creator and an influencer and being able to like tap into sharing that with the world, and then also interacting with comments, and you weren't buried alive, all the trolls that might be there in the comments that they have to deal with.
I love that. Brian, follow-up question. Assuming you're the network executive who greenlights this show, let us know a little bit about like the standards and practices. Is this a show with a laugh track? Is this a show for adults? Is it single camera, etc.?
Yeah, it's going to be a show for adults. It's going to have some darkness to it. I think breaking the fourth wall every now and then is going to be okay. I don't think it should be overused. I think that's something that's really, kind of a challenge, but like Fleabag was able to do it effectively. So having those moments of this new reality that they find themselves in, I think from time to time, being able to nod to the audience would be all right.
I love that. That's perfect. Once again, as always, thanks to a generous grant from the Trident Network, we have prepaid several FCC fines. So if there are any F-bombs, any language bombs of any kind, please know that you're covered. This sitcom that we're creating is for adults, and so is this show. Do we have a title for this insanity?
Brian, we have so many.
Okay.
All right, so for our Buried Alive sitcom, our selections are Up and Atom, Oops, I'm Out, Rise and Grind, It's All Uphill, Dead Ringer, What Doesn't Kill You, One Foot in the Grave, and then we have Passed Away? No, Passed Away.
They're all
Great.
so good.
Yeah, so good.
Does anybody have a favorite from those?
I like Rise and Grind.
I like Oops, I'm Out.
We could have one of those be the show title and
Yeah.
one.
Well, it's the episode title, yeah.
Would you read that really long one from the end again, just because it really landed on my
Yeah, of course. And this one is from Chris. It's Passed Away? No. Passed Away. So it's past, P-A-S-S-E-D away. No. P-A-S-T away. It's a thinker.
I love the idea of hearing like at 7 Abbott Elementary at 7:30 passed away. That's delightful. Do we have a what was the one that you liked, Brian?
I like Rise and Grind.
Is it Rise and Grind?
Yes.
Rising. Yeah, okay.
Okay, is that okay? I'm just making sure I heard it right. And then Robin, yours was Oops, I'm
Out, I think is what somebody said.
How do we feel about those? Or we can go with that super long.
I'm cool.
I think those are good.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. If someone could try to say, we always do some assigned lines of dialogue, but as a bonus one, if someone could try to say, passed away? No, passed away in the series, that would be great. We're coming up on our cold open. This is our first scene before the credits. We're going to meet some characters. We're going to land a joke, and then Emma's going to call it for our opening credits. Actors, do you feel ready?
Yes.
Writers, we know what we need to do. Em, are you ready for the cold open of Rise and Grind?
I am ready. Let's do it. 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 I am ready.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. I'm glad everybody's up today.
Yeah, up just barely.
Oh, it's so bright. The sun is just in my eyes. Oh, still can't adjust.
I
Get
know
over-
I'll never get used to it.
No, we all need to get over it. Okay? Something happened to us and it was traumatic, but no one can know.
No one can know.
I want everyone to feel my pain. Everyone must know why. Why must we keep it a secret?
Oh, come on. People will look at us like we're freaks, okay? I was CEO of a major Fortune 500 company. All right? You want me to forget about that? You want me to spend the rest of my life being treated like a victim? I don't think so.
We're not asking you to forget your career, Shireen. We're just we can't forget the trauma of living in soil for months.
No. CEO, DOA, and now something else.
Shireen, think of the PTO you could take as a result. Just a random day whenever you felt like it. It's an advantage.
PTO is for lazy people and pregnant women. I have a job to do.
I feel like you're going to
Respect.
bury yourself again just with this job. The amount of stress you're under, we're not trying to get buried again, Shireen. I'm looking out for you.
That's a good
I
point.
refuse to go back and be buried under paperwork, Shireen. I want a life.
That's a good point. Who did bury us? I can think of a million people that want me dead right now.
Me too, about you.
We're collateral damage.
Well, I was just asleep. I fell asleep in my office, corner office, 50th floor. and then we were in a cave, and now we're out.
Now we're out.
Well, let me think. I had an assistant that I was a little mean to.
Is this the part where we atone to everybody? That we were mean to?
If we have to live in a world where we have to be kind to every possible person, I think I want to go back.
And that's our cold open.
All right, we laid a lot of groundwork, pun intended. Let's start with our actors. We want to dig into these characters a little bit. Maggie, your character that we saw in this scene, I assume this is one we'll see throughout the episode. Let us know something about them, something that is like something from their backstory, something that's a secret, something that doesn't necessarily have to come up, but it's something our writers can use for this character.
I feel like my character has been talking to like Megan Twohey at the New York Times, trying to get like the next big article that everyone's sending to each other to get past the ad blocker or whatever, the paywall.
Tracy, same question. Let us know something about your character that we don't know yet.
My character was a climber before, but not successful, and really wants to parlay this experience into climbing.
I love that. Erin, same question. Any like actor secret or piece of backstory we need to know?
I am thinking that this CEO was immediately replaced, and that's her biggest fear because that's her only purpose in life.
What was somebody was named something like Tareen? What was the name?
Shireen. Erin is Shireen.
Yeah.
Love that. Let's check in with our writers. Robin, we're getting ready for Act 2.
Mhm.
How much time has passed between our cold open and Act 2? I said, and Act 1.
I think maybe not too much, because I feel like we were kind of getting to where like we were going to really focus on this plan of getting somebody less stressed. You're not going to be buried under this stress. So perhaps it's a quick cut, and now we've got plans to get her out from under stress from being buried all the time.
Perfect. Will, where is our first scene of Act 1 located?
I think the two other buried survivors have gotten the CEO, Shireen, to reluctantly agree to go to therapy for this. So like they're in a therapist's office.
I love that. And Brian, give us a line of dialogue that you'd like to hear in Act 1.
I want to say it started with my mother, but I think it was probably when the dirt hit my face.
Do you mind repeating that?
I want to say it started with my mother, but I really think it was when the dirt hit my face.
Perfect. Actors, tuck that away. We'll expect to hear that soon. Okay, we're jumping in to Act 1 of Rise and Grind, oops, I'm out. We know what's up. We got to get this going. Em, are you ready for Act 1?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
Go.
Well, I'd like to say it started with my mother, but it probably started when the dirt hit my face.
Love that you're owning it. I love that you're embracing it.
Right. Yeah. Just a lot of trauma and just mothers, and I have a 2:30. Is there something I can say that'll make this be done fast?
I just want to dig into that a little bit more. Apologies for the double speak. When you were getting buried, I'm so sorry. If there's a better way for me to say this, let me know. But when you were getting buried, how did that dirt make you feel?
Okay. Well, it was cold. It wasn't wet, it was dry. Kind of reminded me of one of those board meetings where I forget to bring chapstick.
Hmm.
And then I immediately fell asleep.
Sure.
As if you were in a womb. Kind of like going back.
I could say that. My mother was actually only pregnant with me for 3 months. For 7 of them, I was still in a lab.
Wow. And I hate to push past that into the buried alive thing again. I really do. So, and forgive me, this is such a personal question. Was it just like it was dark, or did you like hear anything?
Hello? Hello? Please have some respect when people are talking.
I'm so
So
sorry.
minimal.
I apologize for that. That's something I'm working on. I've got a little narcolepsy.
Could you repeat your question for her? I think she missed half of it.
And I know, and I'm so sorry. It's just that the buried alive stuff is really top of mind for me, and I'm sure for many people.
Of course.
So I would just love a little bit more context about, I mean, in those moments before you fell asleep, after the dirt was hitting your face, like, did you hear anyone? Did you think of anyone?
Well, I heard an incredible commotion. It was as if it was being buried by a group of people. And
Hmm.
Have you ever seen a movie about like a Salem witch trial?
Sure.
I felt like that, like they were doing some kind of spell on me.
And I'm so sorry to interrupt. Just to go back to the moments you were buried, when it was hitting your face, did you feel if it was like sandy or maybe well packed? Was
I
there any kind of like dampness to it? You said it was dry, like corporate air conditioner dry.
yeah. I mean, I guess it was like a dark brown, so I know it's not clay.
Okay. Okay. Anything that gave spa?
Spa
Spa, like, like
like a
mud
med spa?
bath.
Oh, my bath. Well,
Was it dirty or was it clean dirt? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I will say when I got out, my skin has never been clearer. I'm sorry, is somebody knocking at the door? I thought this was a private session.
I have a 1:30, but it's really not a big deal. The person at 1:30 has never been buried alive, if I'm honest.
No,
And
please let them in. I need to take some of the heat off, and I got like a million text messages, not to brag. Also, is this
you
a
want my
support
1:30 to
animal
come
I'm
into your
supposed to
session?
have?
Well, I would like to talk about myself and my experience because
Of course.
I am a survivor and I just feel that there are opportunities that I could take on more responsibilities if one were to say if I could survive such a thing without whining.
Yes. Yeah, talk to Fran. Fran knows all about being outside. Weren't you outside before you were buried?
I was absolutely outside, basically plowing on my family's farm, hoping for a better life.
Incredible.
I am pure of soul, hardworking.
That is so admirable. I really admire our nation's farmers. So I just want to say thank you for your service. Um, and I'm so sorry to come back to the kind of the contents of the dirt. But
Oh,
as a
God.
farmer, I'm sure you know about dirt. I'm sure you know about nutrients. Could
Yes.
you, I mean, did you taste it? Could you tell me anything about, the rock content? Was it native soil to the area? Could you tell?
I'm sorry, are you a therapist or a park ranger?
I have
Good
many
point.
hobbies outside of work, and I recognize that is hard to deal with sometimes.
Well, the answer, it was heavy clay, not good for farming. So it was a disappointment. I mean, I thought I was returning to the earth. I thought I was being one with the land. And it was basically give me the most useless piece of land you could put me in and return me to it. It was like a slap in the face, really.
Hmm. But ultimately a beneficial slap, as we talked with Shireen, she is nearly poreless.
And I do pay someone to slap me every day.
And I encourage all women to do so.
Well, I will say that I had crow's feet from the sun beating down onto my skin, unadorned with SPF.
Mhm.
And when I returned, when I was unburied, they were gone. Magic.
Wow. Wow. It is incredible what being buried face down, ass out can do. I'm sorry, you guys didn't mention your asses being out, but one paints a picture, you know?
Oh, my ass was definitely out. I paid good money for it, and people are going to see it even if I'm dying. It'll probably outlive me, if you know what I mean.
And scene.
I feel like this was a great representation of just actual therapy. This was felt very much like you had shadowed a session. We're digging deep and really uncovering, pun intended,
Huh?
some it's great. Let's check in with our actors in between acts 1 and 2. Maggie, are there any new characters that you think we'll meet in act 2 that you're interested in creating or that you think we need to see?
I'm interested to see some of the people that Shireen works with, because she seems like a real piece of work. Positive. But generally like the victim's immediate orbit, how they're reacting to these people when they get out.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracy, same question. Any new characters that you're interested in seeing or creating for us in act 2?
Along those lines, sorry, Maggie, I'm going to piggyback on that as well. Like Shireen's maybe a daughter or a close member of the family.
Yeah, absolutely. People that had maybe either grieved or breathed a sigh of relief during absence. Erin, same question. Anybody else that you'd like Shireen to meet or any other characters you'd like to create?
I was interested in Tracy's farm upbringing and meeting like farmers, maybe who speak slowly, deep accents, and now they're being like interviewed by news networks and they don't even own a TV kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you can slip into like a plow rut and then you're buried. Check in with our writers. Robin, what's next? What would you like to see in act 2?
Let's I think I want to start seeing either the farm life or we go into the CEO kind of world, like I'd like to see how everybody interacts in their different worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes almost like we've got like a fish out of water co-plot.
I also love that like the therapist was more like I like the idea that other people are more interested in that they've been buried. Like they don't bring it up, but they're like, so yeah, like I just like that. Like, and they're like, no, it's no big deal, whatever. But they're like, no, you've been buried alive. Yeah.
Everything. Brian, same question. What would you like to see next in act 2 of this?
I'm thinking about how Shireen, the CEO, probably left a pretty decent amount of money to heirs, and now that she's back, she's got to either unravel that, or people are upset with her about it. Maybe they're not happy that she's back. Maybe they're glad that she was gone and they got some money, and now she's back and more interested in the money. So I think there's an opportunity there.
Yeah. Will, same question. What's next for this episode?
So are you familiar with those like man camps where like they
like the
kidnap you in the middle of the night and they like teach you how to be an alpha male? What we've kind of laid the groundwork for sounds like an ill-advised like spa version of that, where like they're getting kidnapped by like these spa owners who are like, yeah, it'll be relaxing. You'll like wake up and you'll feel completely rejuvenated. But like no one's aware that it's happening. So I don't know. I'm toying with the idea that like, oh yeah, there's this like company that started this and like the ramifications of them being like, the trial is not going well.
Yeah. You have to remember where you put them.
Yeah.
Before you cover someone in dirt, you have to give them like it's like one of those like raffle tickets where they have the number and then or like at a thrift store where you check your bag, they give you like a wacky laminated thing. Will, give us a line of dialogue that you'd like to hear in act 2.
All right. I don't care how many times I have to tell you, I'll be cold and in the ground before you're getting another cent out of me. Again.
You mind repeating that? Would you give us another listen?
I don't care how many times I have to say it. I'll be cold and in the ground before you get another cent out of me. Again.
Okay. Actors, tuck that away somewhere you can get it quickly. I do just want to say, though, congratulations to Brian, because that is the fastest a writer's line of dialogue has ever been said on this show. It was the first line of the scene. It was really, I logged it for the history of this show. When we have our 50th anniversary, stories that we tell. All right, we're getting into Act 2. New characters, new locations, new plot threads. Em, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So she was gone for, I'd say, about a month, and Paul and I were really worried. We really were.
And she'd never been gone that long before?
No, actually, none of our children are ever allowed to leave the ranch.
I would walk out every day and holler her name, hoping she'd return, and never just happened that way.
I was afraid she got ate by a coyote. That's how
Oh.
Daddy died. I was so
Oh, Mama, don't even say such a thing. It breaks my heart hearing you say that.
And that coyote still stalks our house. It's like he knows what he did, and he did it on purpose.
I know you guys are really close to that cops of prop circles that showed up recently. Did you ever expect anything supernatural?
Well,
Mama, remember that one night I said maybe it's those UFO things, and you just poo-pooed it, Mama.
well, that's because aliens aren't real. If they were, we would see them with our eyes, and we would vote them into office. And besides, aliens usually come mid-month, and this was the beginning of the month. And it goes on a cycle, lunar cycle with the moon. You should know that, you're a reporter.
I'm in the culture beat. We don't do a lot of space stuff.
Culture.
I did take an astronomy class in college when I was thinking about changing my major. So,
Well, that would explain why you were referring to them as circles. They're swirls. That was a rookie mistake.
I'm so sorry. I never got past the 100 level. I switched to journalism so fast your head would spin. So okay. I'm gonna cut right to it. Beyond Fran being buried for so long, there's been a number of people in the community who've talked about buying raw milk from you guys. Do you have any comment on that? We're just trying to really paint a picture of Fran's family.
Well, I will say, as soon as Fran left, the cows started producing more milk than they've ever produced. We were able to sell it at pennies on the dollar.
And and is that good that happened?
It's fantastic. I mean, everybody knew us. We were at every farmer's market. We
It was
had a
high volume and low yield, but we were moving milk.
What did you say to folks when they asked where she was?
we also got these hats at the farmer's market.
Wow.
Our friend Marty makes them.
You like them? Does somebody with culture wear something like this?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that at the ready to wear fashion week. A lot of bucket hats coming down the runway. It's very cosmopolitan.
Hear that, Mama?
Thank you. Yes, I did, Paul. Thank you.
So did Fran have any friends in town? Any boyfriends?
Boyfriends.
Forgive me.
You think my daughter was a slut, don't you?
Mama.
It's a turn of phrase. I don't mean anything by it. I apologize.
Do you think she was engaging in premarital relations, is what you're implying?
I'm
Don't
just-
you drag her name through the mud.
I'm
Her
just
body's
She's
already-
been
qualifying
buried
the-
once.
Okay. Sorry to get sidetracked. Let's get
Why
back
don't you
to the
turn that
buried.
recorder off and let's have a real conversation for a second,
Mama, you want me to get the pitchfork?
please?
It's off. What do you really want me to know? What do you want the American people to know about your daughter being buried for 3 months?
When she left, she was with child. What that child was, we'll never know. Because she's still very much pregnant.
She's hardly showing at all.
And it's like 19 months gestation.
19
We can't
months?
figure it out.
Wow, that's
Just like an
big
elephant. Jinx! I'm starting to
I'll
laugh
buy a
you.
Coke, Mama.
Listen, I'll buy you a Coke at the next farmer's market. How's that?
Sounds like a plan. Anyway, she's very pregnant.
Have you taken her to an OBGYN or
No need.
zoologist or
I know exactly what the human body is.
We don't need doctoring in our house. We got
Mhm.
Mama.
Doctors can't cure whatever she's got.
alien
Only
baby?
love can.
Tell him, Mama. And we will love this baby no matter what it is. I promise. If this baby has 3 heads, I'll be like, that's our baby. That's our baby. That's our grandchild.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
I love you, Mama.
Mm.
So beautiful. I'm sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit. I'm really upset that you made me turn off my recorder because this has been the most juicy part of the interview. I'm so sorry.
Turn it back on. We're going to tell you about the cow we had with 3 heads, and it even won a contest with money.
And scene.
For most heads.
Hats off real quick to Robin who had a real nice was it a mud pun? What was your
Don't drag her name through the mud. Yeah.
I like that we're getting into like an X-Files kind of moment. This is really like thrilling and creepy. Before we get into what's going to happen in Act 3, I just want to do a little bit of what they used to call station identification and talk about the Trident Network for a little bit. If you like this show, if you like what you see on the Trident Network, you could also create something for the Trident Network if you want to participate in any way with them. The Trident Network is on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. Reach in the DMs of any of those. If you would like to subscribe to the Patreon, lately I'm not big on, I'll admit it, promoting Amazon Prime. However, if you already have it, a thing you might not know is you can subscribe to Twitch for free and support Trident in that way. Moving on, Act 3 of this crazy show that also has become to feel sort of organic and grounded to me. These feel like normal people to me now, and that's a testament to our writers and actors. We're going to check in with our actors first. Maggie, we'll start with you. At the beginning of the episode, we asked you for like an actor secret, something from your character's backstory. Is there anything about that that has changed for you or anything that you have felt has developed over the course of the episode?
Well, it would seem that if my character is talking to Megan Toohey, she's not the only one doing it. Since there's reporters going out to Nebraska or whatever. My family's ranch is in Nebraska, so that's why I chose it.
How realistic do you think this ranch is compared to the one that you're familiar with?
It's not too far off. I mean, depending on what they grow and sell, could be the exact same.
Incredible. We like a little bit of realism. We like an on-set consultant. Tracy, same question. From that initial like backstory and history of your character that you told us, anything that you're seeing differently now?
That they're probably conflicted. I kind of said, oh, maybe they're trying to use this that they're opportunistic, but coming from such humble background that maybe they're conflicted about evolving in that way. I just got really deep, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, that's what we're here for. I one of my favorite things about this show, besides when we get the title really like makes my heart race sometimes. But I also love when we get into these episodes and people care about their characters. Really like moves me sometimes where it's like, oh, we had somebody last week who played an alpaca and we were like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. Same question. Anything about your character that you've learned that's changed for you over the course of the episode?
I feel like with Shireen, it'd be interesting to see what she was doing while we weren't seeing her, especially when we added the element that her money went to her heirs and then now she has to take it back from them.
I mean, she'll die again eventually. It'll be real someday. Let's check in with our writers. Will any like loose ends, any plot threads you'd like us to tie up, or any seeds you'd like to plant for the future?
Well, speaking of seeds being planted, I do like this idea of the 19th month gestating baby, and maybe all of the people who were buried alive were abducted by aliens and then planted in the ground.
I love that. The pod imagery in our alien movies already like lends itself to gardening. And Will, just real fast, did you hear your line of dialogue in Act 2?
I did not, so I get the award for line never spoken.
If you remember it, we can put it back on deck. Do you recall what it was?
It was, I'll be cold and in the ground before you get another cent out of me again.
Okay. The another again part of it is really fun to me.
Yes.
Some more. Brian, same question. Any plot holes, anything that you want to tie up in this episode or plant the seeds of for next episode?
Yeah, I think getting some resolution around the raw milk. I think we had some themes there with raw milk, increased production. I don't know if there's a bigger market for it given trends in our world today for accessibility and consequences of raw milk.
Yeah, can I ask a raw milk question? You might not know this. The people who drink raw milk, is it cold? Or is it like
I don't drink it, but it can be cold. It's just unpasteurized, so you can refrigerate it. You don't have to, but you shouldn't drink raw milk.
I've always just pictured it what I'm going to call bucket temp.
Yeah.
Robin, how about you? Any loose plot threads that you'd like us to focus on, or anything that you see forward?
I like what Will's kind of saying about perhaps they're all in the ground. They were pregnant on the ground. It immediately made me think of like locusts, like how they go down and then they're like in 14 years they're coming back up. And so that could be like the kids, and I also like the idea of like some of these people are trying very hard not to be like I'm not a pod person. Like, no, what is this? I don't know what it is. Like not me, but that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Any line of dialogue for us in Act 3?
Oops, I'm out.
Oops, I also like what you did just before that with the no, I'm normal. I'm not.
No, totally norms.
All right, we're going into Act 3 of Rise and Grind, oops, I'm out, with a line of dialogue, oops, I'm out, and also Will's line of dialogue. Actors, you have a lot on your plate. Writers, I think we know what we need to do. Em, do you feel ready to wrap up this episode?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Let's take it home. Let's do it.
Mother.
Shireen, it's lovely to see you.
Oh, of course it is.
Father and I have been waiting to speak to you.
Oh, okay.
Shireen, your pants are not fitting you as they have always fit. Is something going on?
Well, Weight Watchers changed their branding, and I think it's giving me too many points a day.
Very funny,
Also,
Mother.
I
You and
haven't
I
had a
both know we've been
period in
on the
years.
same Weight Watchers the entire life.
Okay, you've got me there.
You're sure that we can't expect some additional offspring?
Offspring? No, no, I'm done having children. Okay? No, nobody else is getting a cent out of me, and they never will again.
Speaking of, we're about to close on our condo. I hope this doesn't risk it.
So that's why you called me here? I was buried alive, and you need a down payment on a condo?
Yes.
I also need a $20,000 loan for my first year at Princeton. And if you don't give it to me, I'm not going to Princeton. And you could imagine what that's going to do to my social status.
Okay.
And listen, if the HOA is going to come after me and charge me these fees, Shireen, it's all on you. We need you.
And if the bursar comes after me, I'm gonna have to go somewhere bad, like a state school.
Not a state school.
And in New Jersey, that's Rutgers. Come
Oh
on.
God, you're treating me like I'm a cash cow, full of milk, swollen. Listen, between you and I, with what's coming, you won't need college or condos anymore.
When you say what's coming, do you mean a little sibling who is neither human nor alien?
When I was buried in that hole with that other woman, we had a conversation, an out-of-body hallucination that I've never used to communicate before. And we did some hand stuff. But
Shireen.
I'm sorry.
Shireen. That is just too much information.
You cheated on Dad in the hole when you were buried alive. You cheated on my father.
Listen, it doesn't matter. None of that matters anymore because I am pregnant. Okay? I'm pregnant because I drank raw milk. But I don't think it was cow's milk.
I just want to know how this is going to affect the trust.
I have a theory that our trust as friends or our mother-daughter relationship?
No, I mean the trust as money. I've never
The legal trust?
felt any amount of trust with you.
I was thinking the legal trust.
Yeah, you put me
That's
on Weight
just
Watchers
me.
when I was 5.
Well, you needed something to teach you discipline. And children get hippie when they turn 10. So I think we need to return to that hole I was buried in Nebraska.
Why do you always want to come back to the buried alive thing? I want to go back to the bank.
Because
Exactly.
What's happening is bigger than money.
Nothing is bigger than money, Shireen.
You've always said money is the biggest thing.
Well, now the whole is what's on the top of my mind. All I can think about is that whole. They made me go to therapy, and it all came rushing back.
Shireen, if you want to be part of this family, money's part of the equation. You need to let that hole go.
Yeah, Mom, choose between me and Dad or the trauma of the whole. You can't have both. It's us or the whole.
Us or the whole.
Us or the whole. Us
Us or the whole. Us or the whole.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let me see that title. Okay.
Here you go.
What is this? Ugh.
I need a certified check.
Oh, well, this won't do. This condo isn't facing north.
She's back. She's back. Shireen is back.
Dad, how could you even tour a condo that doesn't face north?
That's what you wanted. Oh, my stomach hurts.
Oh my God, wait.
She was always so difficult, and now she's back.
Mom,
My love, my love.
Mom, your abdomen is glowing.
Is it hot in here? I'm sweaty now.
Ah!
Oh,
Ah!
God. Oh, God, my stomach.
There's an antenna.
Oh, I would throw up if I didn't have a third hole now.
Oh,
Oh,
I
my
just
God.
got hit in the head.
Catch it. Catch that. Catch it.
Dad, catch the alien baby, Dad.
Here.
Oh, God.
I'm pulling. How long is this thing?
I see hooves. Is it supposed to have hooves?
I don't know what it's supposed to have, Mom. You're the one who got pregnant in a hole. It looks like a little cow with a human head.
Oh,
It's kind of cute.
this is kind of cute. A centaur, maybe? I don't even know. Maybe?
Oh,
My God. Little brother.
well. Are you all happy now?
I mean, how can I go to Princeton now?
I'll
I don't
tell
wanna-
you how. I'm going to throw this baby away. Since you wanted me to forget the
No!
whole.
Don't
Is this
do
not a
that.
physical representation of the whole?
Baby,
how
I'm
can I-
vested now. Baby, no. I'll raise
Yeah.
it as my own.
You can
How
never
can
do
I
that. You can't
keep
even
the
pick a
two-
good condo.
How can I keep the 20K and also my little brother?
What's that? Uh-huh.
Is it talking already?
Yeah, it's saying you're not even smart enough to get into Princeton. Of course you're going to a state school.
And that's our show.
We really did it. We this I think that the place that this landed of being like almost an Arrested Development sort of like Succession style family dynasty of people that were buried alive that gestated aliens and drink raw milk Really got to a place where it made perfect sense to me. Let's check in with our actors. Maggie, we'll start with you. Does this show remind you of any other shows? And if not, what show would you pair it with on like a nightly schedule?
No, to the first question. And to the second question, maybe it could be like a cheeky little end of night show on one of the other like themed nights. So like Chicago PD, Chicago Med, and then also this.
This happens once in a while on here. This gave me a vibe of like an animated show. Almost. Dynamics, and if not, what show would you pair it with?
No, it doesn't necessarily remind me of something, but it would be almost kind of like the punk rock follow-up to X-Files, maybe, that it follows an X-Files episode.
I like that the ambiguousness of like the witnesses on X-Files was really removed for this show. Everybody really put everything that they could remember about the events up front. Like, no, leave us alone. We don't want to talk about that anymore. Erin, same question. Did this remind you of anything else, even like during?
I would say, yeah, it reminded me of like an X-Files or a Black Mirror episode where, you know, Act 1 was really building to some big mystery, and then you find out it's aliens that everyone's going to give birth to. And so that was really fun. Also, it was kind of like each act was one scene, I'm pretty sure. And so it was like sort of a soap opera in that way, where a whole episode takes place in like someone's kitchen. It's one conversation.
My favorite thing about soap operas like that is that there would be one character who is like one scene in a kitchen or whatever, but another set of characters, they might spend their entire day and night. They might go on a date and then go to bed, and then someone else is in a board meeting the entire episode. Multiple realities. Let's check in with our writers. Robin, this show is getting picked up.
Yeah,
obviously. A full season. What happens in episode 2?
Episode 2. Well, we covered so much in the pilot. We've got buried, 19 months of gestation, babies. So I think episode 2, we're going to maybe focus on those babies and figure out just what they want. If it's just the raw milk, we can give it, and they can go. But maybe something else.
I imagine these babies like quadruple in size every episode. Like they're just Will, what happens? This is a traditional sitcom. It runs like 22 episodes. What happens in our season finale?
In our season finale, I think that the aliens have finally sort of landed on Earth, and they're here to collect what they've kind of been sowing, so to speak. So whether that's their babies or whether there's some kind of like plot that they have, they're finally in full force.
I love that, especially because we sort of came organically to this like farm and alien aspect in this episode. And the imagery of like the crop circles and of that like a cow being pulled up in a beam, it's all right there. But we got there on our own. Brian, this show's a hit. It's going for years.
Season
Where
5,
are we in season 5?
The babies, the cows, whatever's going on there, they're fully mature, and they're trying to get into Princeton.
Now though, they're legacy students and they can probably get it. Oh, yeah, it's like the hot younger cast. I'm really, I'm proud of all of us. I think we really landed somewhere really special at this one. Unfortunately, we're not done. We here at Pilot Season believe that a good sitcom has a theme. And so while we're saying goodbye tonight, our cast and writers will delight us with the theme to Rise and Grind. Everyone in your Zoom windows, feel free to do your best opening credit poses. And here it is. Here's the theme to Rise and Grind, a new hit sitcom.
Because
Are
we're
we singing?
rising and we're grinding up
I
out
was
of the
buried,
mud.
but now I'm out.
Ooh.
Can't keep me down in the ground.
We're out because we're rise and we're gonna get to work with grinding. Rising,
Thank you, everybody. On every social media. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great night.
Bye.